Now we have another important topic, slips and trips. It could happen because of, uh, you know, slippery spaces. Maybe housekeeping is going on, the floor is wet, maybe the surface is not leveled, might be, it is happening because of the person is using stairs or the ladders, and because of some oil spillage, or maybe some sort of anti-slippery shoes are there, or because of tripping, like several things we are blocking the ways where the people are going to move on, that areas are blocked because of any reason, and they are slipping or tripping, it's quite common hazard we can observe everywhere in any sort of industry. So again, we have shiny areas, we have most attractive structure through better construction, but we sometimes underestimate that terrible hazard, the slips and trips. So let's discuss how NEBOSH is guiding us. But before we move on, what is the difference between slip hazard and trip hazard? Can you give some examples of each? I already mentioned, slip means you slipped off because of, any slippery floor. Reason could be you're just walking through because of oil spillage, you just fell down, or maybe wetty floor. And especially in the rainy season, the things could be more dangerous for sure. And trip hazard, something obstruction. Some obstructions are there on the floor because of wire entanglement or several materials we kept sometimes on the walking areas. Then that could also be a reason of trip hazard. Like this is an example. If it is like smooth floor surfaces, inherently slippery, wet, contamination, frost, and icy dogs or icy floors, hard to avoid sometimes because it's all game of your equipment you are using to walk on the icy floors or working there. Now, common slipping and tripping hazards, trip hazards, uneven or loose floor surface, trailing cables or object on the floor, like we discussed already. Now, how are we going to control them? We need to follow some of the management principles, especially the hierarchy of control. Like, is there any possibility of eliminating the hazard, or create a safe place, or create a safe person? Or we gonna go for risk assessment, like normal patterns of movement or predictable abnormal movements or accident history we can observe, and we can learn several lessons from the accidents, adverse weather conditions and maintenance requirements. And maintenance staff, sometimes they are having maintenance project nearby a machine, and then they don't care about small spillage, maybe few drops falling here and there while maintenance project is going on, and several incidents happened just because of that small spillage. The person is fell down and God forbid hit to the machine or to the equipment, and immediately a fatal accident in shape of death of that concerned person. Just slip and fall down, or maybe trip because of that equipment they are kept here and there while maintenance project is going on. Now, slip resistant surfaces, these all depends on the number of people, footwear and wear and tear, and spills and contamination, environmental condition. And we surely need to get help from our environmental engineer, especially to consider environmental aspects and their impacts. That study we surely have to get from our environmental engineer or EMS officer, that he should help us to share environmental aspects and impact study, including this humidity, including oil spillage, any segment relevant to the environment. Now, spillage control and drainage, what we're going to do is the maintenance and inspection, contaminant of foreseeable spills and leaks, bunds of container we can put in place, and behavioral controls and drainage for outdoor walkways like wet floors or showers. So spillage control and drainage system must be there. What is essential in many workplaces, ensure that pedestrians stay within the designated areas. Like within our induction programs, during induction, we must tell to our visitors especially what are the areas only relevant to them to walk through, and what are the boundary lines or the line of fire they are not going to cross actually. So pedestrians stay within the designated area. That is why we have yellow lines or green lines, red lines, just to have a better shop floor management or area allocation. And pedestrian make sure the areas are free of hazards and designed by guardrails, curbs, or pavements and marking. Use of sign and personal protective equipment, quite regular things we perform. Use of sign like prohibition, warning, and mandatory, and PP in the form of safety footwear with appropriate tread pattern and grip characteristics. So appropriate kind of safety shoes suitable to the conditions. And all those things required proper information to share, a right set of instructions, the safety instructions and training and supervision, especially relevant to hazards and what is required of them and how they can apply it. Supervision is essential. In one of the company, while completing our management consulting project, we train each individual to stop anyone, any visitor who is walking alone actually. So you have to stop him and you all are authorized and ask him, if he needs your help and ask the reason, how come he is there, and without any guide actually. And nobody is with him from your company side. So every employee you surely have to empower, especially to stop any individual you believe does not have a visitor card, or even he has a visitor card, why that guide is not there? Why someone didn't join that gentleman while he is visiting several sensitive areas of your company? So that is why supervision is essential, especially to ensure correct behavior. Housekeeping and maintenance of a safe workplace. Make sure all the floors. That is why we have housekeeping plan or sanitation plan, and how many times even we need to clean that area. It should be well planned, and the responsible person with time plan, time bound, we can create kind of a housekeeping detailed plan, especially for the floors and walkways. There must be a spill procedure, housekeeping standards we can follow up. Floors, walkways, guardrails, and fencing access and gangways inspected and repaired. Emergency exits, one of the most important area which need to be kept clear. Because in case of emergency, if those aisles are blocked, especially the exit routes, then things could be horrible, especially in case of emergency, God forbid. So lighting checked and maintained, that is another area to consider in.